Hi, my name's Julie Callaghan. I'm 56 years of age. I played football from being as long as I can remember, and I now don't play as much, in fact very little, but I tend to get involved in coaching and developing females within the game. I'm from Broomhall, that's where I was born. That's where I lived for about 25 years. Went to Springfield Infant and Junior School, first girl to play football within the school, so got the opportunity to go and play against other schools. It was a bit strange seeing a girl playing football. Now I don't play as much, try to avoid it, but I do enjoy coaching and working with future coaches for the future, to make sure the future of the game is safe for women in this country.
Okay, can you remember how you got into football in the first place?
My earliest memory was at an infant school, in the infant school at Springfield, and I just got a ball. I was on my own trying to kick it up, probably just doing one, and I kept dropping it. And that's where it started. I just picked a ball up and I wanted to play with it. And then the lads, like most girls, boys come and knock on your door. Is your Julie coming out to play football? I don't know if it's because I had a ball, but so I ended up playing on around Broomhall, on the car parks, on the school pitches, on the Ponderosa, 30-a-side, and that's where it all began.
And were people generally supportive of a girl playing football at that time?
No, not really. I remember my mum saying to me when I was 13, we had a mum-to-daughter chat, and it went something like, Julie, you're 13 now, girls don't play football, it's about time to pack it in. And I think she was just trying to protect me to send me on a path of education and a career in a different direction. But I'm very stubborn and I love the game. I just love the game for what it brings to people, to cultures, to teams. And I've made friends that are lifetime friends. So when I look back, yes, many times girls don't play football, but yes we do, and we did, and we are classed as pioneers of the game. I don't think we were pioneers, it was just a passion that we love to play football like today. If you want, there's more opportunities now, I totally admit that, but what we had then was we just played with our friends and we did it for fun.
So you were able to play football at school in the primary school team. What happened when you went to secondary school? Oh
no, I went to Silverdale. I played netball at Silverdale. I did get in trouble many times for kicking a netball around. They kept catching me, trying to keep it up. So when I got home straight from school, I would just took my uniform off, because we had a uniform then, and straight onto the car park with the lads to play football.
Were there any girls' teams around at that time for you to play for?
No, the only way I got involved in playing for a team was John Broadhurst, who is still a friend. And somebody I've known for many years. We was an athletics competition, and she walked past me with a Sheffield Ladies FC sweatshirt on, and I thought, right, this is my opportunity. So I just went up to her and said, do you play for a girls team? And she said yes, and that was it. I started to train with them. I went with Rotherham a little bit and Sheffield, but decided to stay with Sheffield, and that's how it all began. But there wasn't, I think Sheffield Ladies at that time was the only girls' team, the women's team in Sheffield. I may be corrected on that. There were Rotherham, Kilnest, so some of the traditional sides that are still here have been going, many years.
So were you playing for an adult team in effect when you were still at 13, 14?
Yes, so at that when I played then, so from some 12-year-olds, but 14, you played adult football. So it was quite a challenge, but you just got on with it then because you was playing the game that you wanted to play and that you loved. So yeah, did it toughen me up? Possibly. Did it make me better? I would like to think so, but I'm sure people that may know me may laugh at that comment.
What position did you play?
Centre forward. I played centre forward and I played left wing. I was quite unique because I was a left footer, so you know, people wanted me to play for them because I played a left-sided. So I came in wanting to play. Well, I just wanted to play really, but I ended up on the left wing, and then Joanne's dad, Brian Broadhurst, he went, "Can you play number 9?" And I kind of went, "Nah, I don't think so. I like 11." And by the time he got me on the pitch, I was playing number 9.
So what league did you play in? Did you play in a league for Sheffield Wednesday?
Sheffield Wednesday, so when I played for Wednesday, we played in the Northern League. I can't remember exactly what it was called at that time, but we went from playing, I would like to say, we were amateurs, but once we joined Wednesday, it became like this professional outfit. So the coaching, the facilities, the kits, the 52-seater bus that took us to game and not getting 6 in a car. I'm not saying that's legal, but getting as many as your car to get them to venues. It was a mass change. And what that did was it kind of opened my eyes to actually, you know, this is the way it should be, and that just because you're female and you're a woman or you're a girl, that you should have what everybody else has, and that really pushed me on my journey to become a football development officer, to put in place the best I could get for all females across this county.
So were there any particular highlights of your playing career? Anything particularly stand out for you?
My playing career? There's quite a lot. I think the big thing for me was the friendship. I think that was massive. You know, I've already alluded to, I've got friends that I made for life, and we still share memories, and we still laugh about what it was like standing on chairs to put nets up, and the chairs were sinking in the mud because the men had played on it before. But we just got on with it and played, and thank goodness we had parents that were taller than we were that could get the nets up. So that kind of give me a really good grounding, and my highlights would be I've played at Hillsborough 3 times. I scored at Hillsborough. That was massive for me. Mum and Dad was there. A memory I'll always carry with me.
What was the occasion?
It was just, it was a cup final, that one, that they came to watch me. And so we were playing a team from Nottingham, if I remember right, and we won. And it was just a special day to actually walk up the tunnel, where I am a Sheffield Wednesday fan, but to walk up the tunnel and of your favourite club, of your favourite ground, and feel what they feel, apart from the noise of the crowd, of course, but just to come out, and it just took your breath away when you got slightly up the slope, and it was like, gosh, this is it. And then cross the chalk line. As soon as you crossed the chalk line, you were on game mode, and then you were off. But the size of the pitch, I must admit, nearly killed me. But I got through that bit.
How many people were watching? Can you remember?
They opened it up because there was something else on after us, and we got a couple of hundred Sheffield Wednesday fans come to watch us. And that was quite bizarre, because at that time I worked at Sheffield Wednesday in the ticket office, and I got a little bit of a fan club that used to come to the window to buy tickets because I played. And the thing for me that stood out is I went from being somebody that sat behind a piece of glass selling tickets for Sheffield Wednesday to being then recognised as a Sheffield Wednesday player. As a female, that was massive.
So how did you get into football coaching?
It was the Euros in '96, showing my age a little bit now. A friend of mine, Shirley Garnham, she played in goal for us. she said, "Oh, come on, we're doing this thing for the Euros. Come down and have a look." So I got involved then, and it just went from there, really. I did my level 1 like everybody else, though it wasn't called that then. I did my level 2, and then I was quite fortunate. Robert Unwin from Rotherham and Pete Cooper from Sheffield just became the greatest mentors that gave me the opportunity to work with players, to work with young players, and I think that's the hard thing is about when you become a coach is where do you see yourself training. And when you look at young players, sometimes that's quite difficult, but that's the grounding. That's the bit that you take forward when you're working with older players. That's where you learn to coach. So I was quite fortunate from that. Ended up at Nottingham Forest. First female to work in a boys' academy. Did that for 4 years. Worked at Sheffield Wednesday and Rotherham in the boys' academy. But in between that I was with England. So I was England Youths. Did 1 match with the England senior squads.
This is the men's squad, is it?
With women's. Yeah. So again, Hope Powell, great mentor, helped me along, kept me under a wing, and really supported my development, which was, that really gave me a good push in football, not just men's game, but certainly in the women's game.
So what were the main differences between working in men's football and women's football?
I think it's the speed of the game. At that time, technically, no fault of females is that you didn't get the coaching that the boys got. So that was a big thing for me when I became technical director at Sheffield United, the Girls' Centre of Excellence as it was then, that we put in together a technical programme that would develop skills individually. So rather than, as I'd been coached as a team, I wanted to look after the individual and how that fitted in as a unit, and then as that fitted in the team, and then decided how we was going to play based on that information and knowledge we had of the players we'd got around us. That was the big difference. Yes, it was a bit slower, and the game understanding at that time, we just wanted to play for fun. But obviously, as it's progressed now professionally, the women's game, it at times can be as good, if not better, than the men's.
So, what's the highest level qualification you've got now in coaching?
Level 4, which is a UEFA A licence.
And has that been a smooth pathway for you?
No.
Any hurdles, barriers on the way?
Yeah, lots. I think when you're in football, you have this, as you come through, you kind of think that you know everything, and when you go on a course you find out actually you don't know as much as you thought you knew. So there's been a lot of learning on the way, there's been a lot of tears. I haven't always passed everything first time, but I've had people around me that's cheered me on and helped me and supported me and mentored me until I achieved my A licence in 1999, the 4th female in the country.
You mentioned you'd made some friends for life through football. Can you give us an example?
My best friend through football was somebody called Julie Chipchase. She started out as a football development officer at the West Riding, and she went on to become a regional manager for the FA and a county coach developer. Julie Chipchase, well, what can I say? Unfortunately, we lost her this year. A friend, a mentor, a support. I've known her since I was 18, so my first real job was I was a lifeguard at Sheaf Valley Baths, which has now been obviously knocked down for Ponds Forge, but Julie worked at Glossop Road swimming pool as it was then, and I got to know Julie through being employed, and our friendship grew, always looked out for each other, but she was a real pioneer a real pioneer. She was a winner. She believed in opportunities like we all do for all. She put lots of things in place to allow children to develop and grow and enjoy the game and continue the legacy that people like Julie and Doncaster Bell certainly in that time was the big team, put this legacy and put women's football on the map. They're so important as part of our history because that's why the game is like it is today.
What's the best aspect of your job and the most difficult aspect?
The best aspects of the job as Disability and Inclusion and Diversity Officer is meeting lots of different people that have the same feelings about the game that I do and want to play. And then the big thing is being able to put opportunities in place for that to happen and seeing them play. I think that's amazing. That's worth every minute of waking up for. The worst part of it is convincing females that they can play football and that there's an opportunity out there for them. And the challenge is around seeing that as not just fun, but it's good for health and mentality. And I have some challenges, certainly around females from different cultures and just putting things in place for them to be able to come and play recreationally. So Sarah Harnett is working with me at the minute to look at some recreation officers where you can just turn up and play and have fun, just how you want to play. And that's the challenges around getting people from talking about it to actually kicking a ball.
If you only had one top tip to give to a player, what would it be?
If you want to play football, you play football. And just because you're female, just because you're from a different culture, a different ethnicity group, it doesn't matter. There are things in place for you just to play. You don't always have to play for a team. You can play recreationally. It's such a great sport to bring people together. It's a great sport for exercise. It's a great sport for just uniting people. It's great. For that, it's massive.
What are the local football association's plans for the future of women and girls football in Sheffield and South Yorkshire?
Well, we've got the Euros in 2022 and at the moment Sarah Harnett, who is Euro lead, is working on women's football. So she's out and about at the minute looking at opportunities for females, but she's not just looking at people that maybe get easy access to it. She's wanting to look at opportunities for females that just want to do a bit of for fun or exercise, so recreational offers which are around the city that you can get involved in. You got Molly Johnson, who's doing the Wildcats for children from 5 to 12 to hopefully to develop in her clubs. The women's game this season is up 30% of increase of children and women playing football. So although it's on the increase, there's still opportunities out there to get more people involved. And it's not just about the playing, it's about coaching and refereeing. If you want to be a referee, there's opportunities there. If you want to be a coach, there's opportunities there. I think within the game, we need females in those positions because if children can't see it, then they won't be it. Likewise, if you don't see the women's England team, you don't see the pathway, then you can't see it, and then you decide you just won't be it. So it's really, really key for the development of the game that these pathways are in place, and the County FA are really working hard. Leon Deans is working really, really hard at the leagues and making sure You know, they meet the standards and criteria to make it a safe environment for you to play in. Aaron is looking at he's the referee officer, and chats are in place now around more females, making it safe for them to referee games.
And finally, is there anything else you'd like to say that you haven't already said?
Football for me has been, I've been on a journey. I've been on a journey from somebody telling me that girls didn't play football to having an impact on the future of the game. Some people call that being a pioneer. I call it's just a love for the game, and making sure that there's opportunities in place for people that are following me. You are the legacy. You are the future of our game. If you want to go out and play football, the opportunities now to come in at grassroots and players through to international are there for you to do. So if you believe in yourself and you dream of it, go out and do it.